We are News at Noon on Friday, December 19th, and we are really happy to have you join us. Every time we do this, I always say, "We did it again, we did it again." Oh, so anyway, we are working on this. A couple of people have commented on some things they'd like to see, like Bill's music again and a time clock or whatever. We cannot do that until Bill can get his big computer back that is being repaired because of the programs that are on it, and also because if you don't do live streams, you don't. We need to have a streaming service to do that. So we will address that sooner or later. Anyway, the first story that we're going to talk about today was, again, every time I turn around, I say the same thing. I cannot believe this. There's been a lawsuit filed after Minnesota officials weaponized the zoning laws against a free camping program for disabled vets. Oh, now they're trying to find a way to shut down this nonprofit organization that provides free camping, fishing, hiking for veterans. And if they are disabled, then the programs would fit them. They're obviously not going to have a disabled person hiking. But in any case, it is a free program and it's wonderful. The vets can go there with their families. They don't have to worry about anything. They're set up with tents, they're set up with gear, whatever gear they need. And here's what I'm thinking to myself: they're working really hard to shut down this program, this lawsuit that's been filed. And yet, this is the same state and the same government that has allowed Somali illegal immigrants who came over here to scam, to fraud, to whatever word you want to use. They are saying now that that amount might be $9 billion. And as we said just the other day, Tim Waltz, as probably, we don't have any proof, but follow the money, benefited from this fraud scheme, but at the very least turned a blind eye to it. He turned a blind eye to it and allowed it to go on. He allowed these people to scam and fraud us. And then they tried to get in the way of ICE agents who are trying to deport them in any way they can. It's just ridiculous. But the reason that they're trying to close this camping site down, and it's called Roughing It, ROUGHNIT, Roughing It. And that's the name of the program. If any of you are from Minnesota, you might consider making a donation. They are a nonprofit organization trying to help veterans. And it sounds like a wonderful thing. But the reason that they want to shut it down is because they're claiming that this program that provides free camping for vets offers no public benefit. What does that even mean? No public benefit. And it was free. No public benefit. That makes no sense.
Oh, I think it makes a lot of sense. They probably sold it to the Chinese.
Well, I don't. It's the court case is still out there. But what program are there no veterans in Minnesota that would benefit from this? Are they not
they
part
probably
of the
don't understand it any better than we did 24 hours ago. And you're the one who did all the hard work.
No,
but it exists nowhere else. This the story that you pulled up. You put it together, right?
Well, yeah, it was in Gateway Pundit. But my point is no public benefit. I'm sitting here thinking, how does it not provide public benefit? How does it not provide? Are there no veterans in Minnesota benefiting from this? Are they not part of the public? You know, that it doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous on its face. It's not as if they
got something else up their sleeve.
Of course, yes. But every single time you turn around, they're coming after vets. You know, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs is Doug Collins, and Doug Collins served in the House. He's from Georgia. And I mean, I think he's a great person. I don't know how much involvement he can have in a case that's filed in a state. I don't understand the lines drawn by that. But interestingly enough, as I was looking up Doug Collins served as a chaplain in the Army from 2002 to
Oh, I didn't know
2009.
that.
Yeah, he actually served. He was deployed to Iraq, and he was a chaplain. So he served the veterans in that way and was in Iraq, which was, even though he wasn't a combat, whatever, he was there and he was a chaplain. And I found that kind of interesting. How, so it's beyond me. It's beyond me. The veterans, we have so many homeless veterans in this country. We have so many veterans who are suffering because they can't get the help they need. We have Somalians ripping us off. We have the group in Haiti ripping off another state. We have Maine. We've all these things popping up with fraud coming out up the wazoo. And we have veterans who are homeless and all they want to do is camp and fish and have fun with their family. This is just,
a commenter says, wait until the vets come after them. Well, the them are now in control to a certain extent of the government. So if the vets come after the them, then the thems can throw whatever the government has at them from a police standpoint. And it's just crazy that they've gotten that embedded and gotten that much power in a single state in the United States.
Well, I think Tim Walz should just resign himself to putting tampons in the bathrooms. Keep it at that. Tampon Tim. Speaking of Tim Walz, I have to share this because I saw him say this. He said the reason President Trump comes after him so hard is because President Trump, he's laughing because he knows what I'm going to say. President Trump is afraid of Tim Walz's masculinity.
Yeah.
And he said it with a straight face. And the people in the crowd cheered. And I was sitting there thinking, wait a minute. I thought masculinity was toxic. Maybe he's saying President Trump is afraid of him because he's toxic. And he's
or maybe Trump has the toxic version of masculinity, and he has the pure version.
And he has the pure version. Well, that's a possibility. But in any case, if you live in Minnesota, or you know somebody lives in Minnesota, I don't know what effect you could have on this because it's gone to the courts. But you can raise a ruckus. You can have op-eds in local newspapers or whatever talking about how ridiculous this is that you're going after these vets.
My wife is signaling me to do something.
Not so subtly. Yes, right. So in any case, also if you're from Minnesota, it's called Roughing It, and this is their mission. I just wanted to read their mission statement. Our mission at Roughing It, our mission is to support primarily disabled veterans and their families with a camp that offers the opportunity to heal, reconnect with nature, unplug from the digital world through transformative camping experiences that promote mental well-being, personal growth, and meaningful connection. Yeah, it has no public benefit. In collaboration with dedicated volunteers, donors, and partners, we are determined to make positive and lasting impact on the lives of people we serve. I can't say enough about being in nature, being allowed to be out in the open. The sunshine is so good for you. Being out at peace, that's why people go on vacations. That's why they go to the beach, because it's peaceful and you can be in nature. I was part of a program when I was in my 20s where we took kids from underprivileged neighborhoods and we provided a day trip to the beach. I was one of the chaperones for that. And you see these kids, they did not live that far from the coast, maybe a couple hours, but they had never been to the beach because they couldn't afford to go. And so we took busloads of kids and let them out. I mean, it was amazing the effect it had on them. I mean, the ocean itself is just so calming, but all of nature seems to have that. It doesn't have to be an ocean, but being outside is just, so good. And as I said, unplugging from the digital world. We didn't grow up in a digital world. So our world, my world, we spent a lot of time outside. I mean, all day in the summertime, we were outside playing. The thing was, come in when the street lights come on.
Exactly. My parents never knew where I was. They just knew that I would show up for dinner time, and that was fine. And this was back in the days of bicycles,
That's right. Yeah.
And this is South Los Angeles.
And you could ride for miles and miles. And you say no speed, but we say really one speed, your speed, however fast you could pedal. We didn't have all these gears on bikes, and going uphill was a pain. But in any case, I just wanted to get that involved. And then on another front, talking about illegal immigration in our country, which is a horrible situation that we have found ourselves on all sides. And I had heard of this, but I had kind of forgotten about it, I guess, with everything else going on. We had this program called diversity visas. Now, whenever you hear the name diversity in the past, I used to think it was a good thing. Now I realize it's not a good thing.
It's almost always a bad thing.
In the 1990s, Congress created this thing called diversity visas. And what it is, it's locally, it's called green card lottery, which is exactly what it is. It is exactly what it is. President Trump tried to stop this program in 2017, but he had no help from his people, Rat Ryan and others. He tried to end it because what it is exactly what you think it is. They offer 50,000 people an opportunity to apply for this visa, and they offer it to countries that don't normally immigrate here, so that's the diversity part. It would be like, Scandinavian countries, etc. And the whole thing is you apply to be one of these people, and your name is drawn at random. At random. They have no idea who these people are. They give them this permanent residency, permanent visa they're given in the United States. And it's you can only imagine. I mean, just imagine somebody is an ISIS member. They move to a country with this, like Portugal, and they can come over here. They have a pretty good, there's 50,000 of them, so they have better than nothing chance of getting in. If their visa otherwise is denied, guess what? We can just apply for the lottery and maybe we'll get in. Well, President Trump ended this program, or had Kristi Noem end this program, because the gentleman, I shouldn't call him a gentleman, the man who killed the 2 Brown University students and the MIT professor was part of that program. That's how he came over here. He managed to get one of those visas. And so they finally were able to end it. I said President Trump tried to end it in 2017 when another person who had one of those visas killed a lot of people in New York. And so finally we have Kristi Noem, who has ended it. So we won't have these random people. It's just random people that they choose to come over here. They don't even know who they are. Of course, we don't know who they are.
There are thousands of them now.
And there are thousands of them. This has been going on since the 1990s. There are thousands of them. This is a situation that, honestly, we have all of this immigration issues, but I wasn't even, I think I'd heard about it, but I put it out of my mind. But this is what is going on. In the UK, they have canceled Christmas Eve celebrations. Well, we all know why they canceled Christmas Eve celebrations, but they won't say that's why.
because it's a very dangerous time.
Because of? Because of?
Because of the people who hate Christmas.
No, because of all the illegal immigrants that they have allowed in their
Right.
country.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I know that, but I wanted to clarify that. So they can't have New Year's celebrations. So you can't, these countries that we would be where France and the UK are now, were it not for God first, but President Trump. I mean, this is what they want for us. They want us to have this kind of life where we're overrun, where we're scared of our shadows. And also, too, we still have the right to carry a gun. And that, as Australians have said numerous times in different ways, don't give up your guns. Right?
Right.
Do not give up your guns because
they've been forced to. They've been forced
to, and their country is in trouble now. And look what just happened in Australia. And I'm sorry for all of those people, but this is where it's headed. There is a war on Jews and Christians. Look at Nigeria. Look at what's going on in there. They're slaughtering Christians by the thousands. Jay Sekulow is fighting that battle. What do they say? First the Saturday people and then the Sunday people? That's one of the things they say. I don't like to have such depressing news for our News at Noon program, News at Noonish program, but those stories sort of stuck out to me. And the other thing that I noticed today, which was the media at its finest, they did show President Trump's speech last night that he gave. And it was a great speech. If you haven't watched it, find it and watch it. It was an excellent speech. But one of the things he was doing was talking about all the economic gains that they had made and all of the things that have happened. And the news media, however, President Trump had sort of made offhanded comments so that the people thought that he was going to be announcing that we are going to war with Venezuela. And therefore, the media covered his press conference in full, in the entirety of it. But what they did, what the other media did, now Fox didn't, and Newsmax, I don't know if Newsmax did or not, but what they did was they showed his speech, but they did not show the slides that he had to go with it. And when you hear him in his speech say, let's take a look at, he is expecting one of his slides, one of his charts to be showing on the screen because he provided them with all these charts, and they are amazing charts. If you have a chance to find them anywhere, because none of the media would show them. They show this, the cost of gas or the cost of oil, whatever it is under Biden is up here, and the cost under Trump, the cost of this and the cost of that. I mean, and he has all these charts and all these graphs that they refused to show. And their reason for not showing it was we couldn't verify the information. You couldn't verify the information. You couldn't verify the information. You people...
I can verify the information in about 10 seconds.
It's like we couldn't verify these were true. Oh, really? You just didn't want to. You didn't want to show the numbers. Even CNN and others had to admit that President Trump's trifecta of the tariffs and all and the inflation and everything is headed in the right direction. But in any case, I just sat there and thought, God, these stupid, there's Jake Tapper calling it clearly a black man, a white man, talking about verifying information. I'm sorry, I'm getting off on that. But that's, par for the course with these people. But watch this Minnesota case because I'm anxious to see how it comes out. I'm praying for the campers. And here's another thing. Now they have to get all this money to pay for attorneys. Yeah. They have to fight this thing in court. They have to have money. They're a nonprofit organization.
But the flip side is it's also raised the profile of the camping thing where a lot of people had never heard of that probably. And there are going to be some wealthy people in Minnesota who are going to step up, I hope.
I hope so. Oh, I know who's in Minnesota is Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell is in Minnesota. He's a wealthy person. And by the way, Mike Lindell has thrown his hat in the ring to run for governor
Of Minnesota?
of Minnesota.
Oh, that would be good.
And Tim Walz is running for re-election. So he's going to face...
That would be bad.
He's going to face Tim Walz in running for governor.
That'll be very interesting, though. We will cover that a lot.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. I like Mike Lindell, and Mike Lindell is a person who's had to stand up under a lot of pressure. You know, they're trying to gag him for life to not talk about Dominion voting machines.
Yeah.
So check on the comments and see if there's anything we need to. I can't see.
No. How are we going to do for the midterms?
Oh, I think we're going to do fine. I do actually believe that we will be fine. We will win, but we also have to, keep our pedal to the metal as it is. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't believe anything about any of the polls. Fight in whatever state you're in for the voter rolls to be corrected. Get out and vote. Get people out there and vote. One way to beat the cheating is the monster vote. And with President Trump is not on the ballot, people tend to stay home. No, we cannot do that. We cannot sit down. We cannot stop. We have to keep going. We have to keep fighting. And we have to make sure that, and don't tell me, oh, the Republicans are rhino. What difference does it make? It's the number. We need the majority in the House and the Senate. I don't care if they're a rhino or not. If they're the only Republican running against a Democrat, vote Republican. Don't vote third party. That only takes votes away from the Republicans. But we will prevail. We just have to keep the pedal to the metal and make sure we do our part.
Okay. That's good enough for government work.
Okay.
See you all later.
Yeah.